welcome back. If you're looking for something cool to do, you can always check out One Wild Thing going from limb to theaters. Movie reviewer Matt Perrone explains if this one will have you swinging into theaters to see it.
Welcome to an Independence Day Monday. Not a great holiday weekend for movies. Finding Dory managed to stay in first place, but just barely. The third Purge film did well for its budget, but I didn't know if that would make an appropriate review. It was literally down to the last minute as to what I was going to see, and I was leaning towards Steven Spielberg's adaptation of the Roald Dahl book, The BFG. But I went online and saw that one of the new releases was giving Finding Dory a swim for their money, so here's my take on the box office second place runner-up, The Legend of Tarzan. Our film begins in the late 1880s. King Leopold of Belgium has reign over the Congo and sends an army in to take possession of its diamond reserves in order to pay off his rising debts. The natives make short work of the army but agree to give up diamonds in exchange for Tarzan. Cut to England. Tarzan, aka John Clayton, is years removed from the jungle and has taken his title Lord of Greystoke along with his wife Jane. Against his wishes, he is convinced to return to Africa in order to see if the king is committing any atrocities in his old homeland. He and Jane return to their old home front, accompanied by an American doctor played by Samuel L. Jackson. Their return seems to be a happy homecoming until Leon Rome, an employee of the king, attacks the village they're in and kidnaps Jane. Suddenly, John Clayton is forced to regain his old identity of Tarzan in order to rescue Jane and set things right in his homeland. We see him set off, and all the while are shown several flashbacks of how Tarzan came to be. His biological parents dead in Africa, and him being raised by a society of gorillas. We see Tarzan the ape man emerge. As the movie progresses, we see Tarzan make his way across the Congo to rescue Jane. He is joined by allies, but at the same time he must confront old allies that aren't all that happy to see his return. We see several battles taking place at once. Tarzan's battle to save Jane, the old grudge against Tarzan being held by a native tribe, the battle to stop the Belgian plans and atrocities that are taking place, and of course the internal battle of where home really lies for Tarzan / John Clayton. One thing is for sure, that once the chase begins, we are bombarded with action and excitement until the very end. So, like I said before, it was literally down to the last minute about which of these movies I was going to see. Maybe it's just me, but I didn't see that much advertising for any of them, so I was kind of going in blind to begin with. What I did find interesting about Tarzan was that based on the trailers that I did see, I thought the movie was more about him becoming Tarzan, but the movie's actually more of a sequel to that adventure. I don't know if it's supposed to be a sequel to Greystoke, which I saw some 30-odd years ago, or if it's its own movie and the flashbacks that they show us are its own exposition, in which case it's kind of like two movies in one. Either way, though, it is definitely an interesting film that does fine standing alone. I was actually surprised by the cast that I didn't know was in it. I mean, everyone does a good job, but it's always fun seeing both Christoph Waltz and Samuel L. Jackson do their thing. The CGI in the action sequences were both well done, and even though the movie has a kind of long runtime, it does a great job keeping you engaged until the final credits. If you like the story of Tarzan, this movie does a very good job of the future continuation of that story. Well, this has been your Monday Movie Musing. Back to you.
All right, next review. If you didn't like the heat outside, there's a way to get inside somewhere cool. We have one last look at that 4th of July forecast. That's coming up for you next. You're live from Mina Gervais.